The same floodwaters that made Mississippi River Basin soil so attractive to farmers in the 19th century would become their worst enemy in the first half of the 20th century.
The river, Mississippi River in 1927, spread 100 miles wide. It was like just a giant lake in the middle of the nation.
And Southerners affected the most were those who had the least.
Over 500,000 people were evacuated from their homes, and they were moved into tent cities and refugee camps. The worst tragedy the nation had seen up to that point.
The devastating wake-up call spurred millions of dollars in new levees and other flood control projects all along the Mississippi. They would be tested 10 years later, in 1937, during the biggest flood on record.
And it was a very scary situation.
Stan Gafford was a truck driver in eastern Arkansas during the '37 flood.
Highway 70 was closed for over a month. Water was 4 to 6 feet deep over the road.
And even the height of the Chickasaw Bluffs couldn't completely protect parts of downtown and North Memphis. On Jackson Avenue, only the trolley tracks remained above water.
One day I remember my father took my mother and me and piled us in our family car, and we drove all over Memphis and down where the water had gone up over the banks so high, part of downtown Memphis was totally flooded.
But for the Mid-South, Memphis was the highest ground and a safe haven for many of the 1 million people forced to flee for their lives.
Running through the fields, scared to death, nothing but the clothes on their back, running to highways, and of course the water was pushing them out of these lowlands, and so it was very frightening.
The government built barracks at the Mid-South Fairgrounds to shelter and house the homeless. Babies were born here, while other families searched the sea of faces for their missing children. In time, the water subsided. The Mississippi River has overflowed since, but not like those floods of the 20s and 30s.
Memphis has a wonderful spirit, and when real emergencies come, Memphis stands together.
Rod Starns for Action News 5.